let me get back to lunch break, because at the lunch break I had a discussion with somebody who said, you know, I want to do something with purpose. He said, I think I should switch roles. I think I should switch my job because I finally want to do something with purpose. I thought, what does purpose mean for you? And I think there's one person in the room who knows much more about purpose than probably anybody else. And this is Hameete, and I'm very, very happy to have her. Please join me in welcoming her on stage. Give her an applause. So Ida is working as a product owner in the field of purpose-driven security, and I think all the details can be best presented by herself. So Ida, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. I think my job is to inspire people, to motivate people, and everything has to do for me with a lot of resilience, human resilience. In my other job, I'm a physiotherapist, so I guess that's kind of why I'm interested in human resilience. But yeah, I do cybersecurity. I do the human part and the strategic part of cybersecurity, resilience, purpose, Socio-Dynamics, and also things like management stuff. Yeah, I also had a management job in my earlier life. So yeah, I try to close gaps between management and security, because I think security is a management job too. And we will see in my presentation how purpose and Socio-Dynamics are a really important factor to make security work. So let's start. First, I'll show you a small picture. The numbers are from EY, and I'm not sure where they got them from, but I hope it makes you, they were the best numbers I found about that subject, what was really interesting. It shows you that there are companies which, beneath there it's percentage, so which spend under 1 million franken per year. There are a lot of companies, the biggest part is spending 1 to 5 million franken every year on cybersecurity. There are even companies who are spending up to 50, and there is a small percentage who's spending more than 50 million franken every year on cybersecurity. So yeah, I guess we should take care that this money is spent well, because there are so many factors which make resilience. And one of them is what we see here. The common approach and the question why traditional cybersecurity don't really work out in the most cases, this 50 million to make it really work. The thing is, the common approach is provide the people awareness training, some kind of awareness training. We had great discussions yesterday about awareness training. Develop skills and abilities. Okay, we give them a sheet of paper where it's written how to manage to bring your password from here to there on a safe way. You can do that. You implement tools. They cost millions. We implement them. But there is this assumption that trained employees, just because you train them, will act securely. And I think that's not right. Because awareness doesn't mean action. Because I'm aware does not mean I do care. And only when I care, I act. External nudges, there's this big book about nudges, and I love it, especially the fly in the bathroom at Schiphol airport, you know, where they took care that the man pee at the right thing. It's amazing. It works in a lot of cases. But security in a company is not comparable to toilets at Schiphol airport. So, yeah, it is easy to ignore when it comes to complex tasks. And skills and tools alone don't ensure that it will be implemented, that it really will be implemented in the way the people work. And then we go further. You always have Socio-Dynamics. You can't do anything against it because we are social creatures. We grow up hundreds of thousands of years in social environments of small groups. And of course, we developed to people who can only survive when they work together. So we love to communicate. We love to see what others do. And so we per definition, always have socio-dynamics. The only thing is, for cybersecurity in companies, it often works the wrong way around. It takes care that cybersecurity is not lived out. So we have resource scarcity. And when their people are completely stressed because there are so many tasks they can't live up to, they at one point say, I can't do that. I can't do that anyway, so why should I? Not everybody, but a lot of people in stress situations do react like that at a certain point of level. You have a leadership gap. There is this questionnaire out where they asked managers in Switzerland, how do you believe it is an IT task or a management task or both? 60% of the managers said that cybersecurity is just an IT task. So yeah, there is a leadership gap in cybersecurity from the real up management. And there are unclear accountabilities. So yeah, again, who is responsible for that? Is it the management who has to get more resources? Is it the IT team who did not implement things well? Is it who is it who is really responsible in the end for the situation, for the cybersecurity, for everything that happens? We had this talk with the lawyers. Yeah, are the lawyers responsible? No, I don't think so. But who is responsible? And these all take care that the social dynamics, the barriers, get up and not work in favor of cybersecurity. So, but what can we do? I think the missing link is purpose and then social dynamics. Because the social dynamics you can't switch out anyway. So how can we take care that the social dynamics work in favor? And that is purpose. So purpose provides the why behind every security and every security measure. We'll come to that later a bit better when we look at the circle, the golden circle. But the why is really important to understand why you're doing security. It bridges the gap between the awareness and the action. The social dynamics then reinforce the purpose through group behavior. So when some individuals understood the purpose, the social dynamics work in the positive way. And the same is for shaping individual attitudes then towards security. So when a big part of the group is already, because of purpose, on the security side, it helps to even convince the ones who were not convinced before. Okay, so what does that mean? There is, when we talk about purpose, we should talk about compliance too. Because a lot of companies think, I'm so unbelievable compliant, there must be a purpose and everything else too. But I want to show you on a kitchen analogy, because everybody has a kitchen, and a lot of people have children. I guess everybody can come to this analogy. What's the difference and how people act on that and this kitchen analogy, and it is one-on-one in security as well. I guess you will see when you get the example. The first is you hear, clean the kitchen because it's required. Okay, what will you do? Anybody has any ideas? How will you react on that? No, you will probably not clean the kitchen. Exactly, you will think, not my problem. You will probably try to, if there is a list you have to fill in, you will probably just set the signs because you have to do. Yeah, I cleaned the kitchen, of course. And if somebody is coming and controlling you, he's doing an audit in your kitchen, you'll probably do the cleaning just at the moment that he's coming and just as much that you just go through this audit. Anybody has a different idea when cleaning the kitchen is required? I guess not. And we all know that this is exactly the same what happens in security. When somebody is coming and telling us it's required that we do security. Especially when you are not close to security and don't have a purpose yourself. Take an HR department. You're telling them you have to do security. It's required. It's in our ISO 27001. It's just in there. You have to do security. You have to use this workflow. Yeah. Good luck with explaining them. But clean the kitchen to keep your child healthy is something else. You have a child, it's 2 years old, it has a bit of a bad condition in health, and you know that if he gets bacteria, which are really, really many, you know that there are more bacteria in the kitchen than in the bathroom? So yeah, there is this, you get told that there is this really dangerous bacteria, and for a normal child, perhaps it's not that dangerous, it just can get some diarrhea, but your child could die. What would you do? Would you clean your kitchen to get rid of this bacteria? I guess, yeah. So there's a purpose behind it. You want to keep your child alive. And I guess the most people will clean the kitchen, and they will not do it once. And they will not only do it because somebody is looking, and they will not care even if they do the signs in this slide. Probably they can just do it because they do it anyway. So there is this gigantic difference when you do something which is required and how people act on it, and something where you really stand behind it. It's not that your child could get a little diarrhea and you think, yeah, okay, it will survive. No, we are talking about something that could kill your child. Don't have to, but it can. And nobody knows if this bacteria is really so much in your kitchen. But you know that just by doing the normal workflow of cleaning your kitchen, you can take care that there is a very big chance to keep your child alive. And this is kind of the situation we have in security too, because nobody can say if and when and how we will be attacked. Okay, we know we will be attacked, there will be always bacteria in the kitchen, yeah? But nobody knows if there is this one really, really bad attacker which takes us down and kills the company. But we know that there is a quite big chance when we keep everything open that they can come in and they can do bad things, really, really bad things. So when we understand in the sense of a company, and there comes an example where I go to this closer, when you really understand why our company exists, what is the good we are doing for the world, and we're really behind that, we will do the security things, also the people in HR and other departments. So there is one example. I worked for Epic, for Judy Faulkner, my first job. And in my heart, I'm still working for Epic, I guess. She inspired me so deeply with her purpose and the company purpose. And with the patient at the heart, it's not just a saying. It's what they really live up to. I mean, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's even at the bathrooms, you have these signs where the things are explained and done. It's really, everywhere you go, you have this with a patient at the heart. And it's not, like I say, not just something they just say, like this 5 words we are living up to. I know that with so many companies that they have this marketing part where they ask them, give us the 5 most important words where we should live up to. No, with Epic, they really live up to. And so no matter where in the company, even the people who work in the kitchen, they have their own kitchen for the people, even they know that when they have good food, the developers will better do their work better, and they will save lives. Epic really is convinced that they do save lives. And here is the Inselspital. I heard that everybody from Bern knows that. Inselspital, we can see here, they use Epic. They use Epic to save your guy's life every day, every single day that a child is born, every single day that an ambulance is riding through Bern, that people will be in Epic. So when the people and the cafeteria up there in Madison, Wisconsin do a good job, or the developers, or the security people, or whomever the management, then they actually keep people here in Bern alive. So when you understand that, and it's really deep in your DNA, then you go on a different level with taking care for the code, taking care for your tests, taking care for what you do with management, because you know you actively save life, you make people more healthy, You make people live longer. You make people get the right medicine. And what would that be for a normal company? Let's take the Inselspital. There is a group of people who do admission, discharge, and transition. What is that? When you go, people in the hospital get admission, out get discharge, and when they are transferred from one part to the other, they are transferred. So they are not that close to patients. So what would it matters if a person in ADT is not that compliant or that good in the security workflows? It could mean that a virus or a hacker gets in the system, and even if ADT was closed, it doesn't get into the patient care. But when ADT does not work in the Inselspital, there will be no ambulance riding to the Inselspital anymore. Because when you can't go from the emergency room to the other departments of the hospital, transition, you can't put new people into the ER. And I'm lucky to have a sister who is working for ER, not here in Bern, but in another. So I know it from first hand that the moment the software doesn't work anymore, even the ADT software, they have to close down, normally they have to close down the ER. So people who are far away from the real patient care, when they really deeply understand what they do, and actually Epic also transports it to the hospitals where they are implementing their software. So the people, I'm very sure that here in Inselspital, they know from the deepest in their heart that they take care for the customers, their customers, the patients. And they will have a different idea about how they react on security workflows. So no matter how far away you are from the customer, from the system you keep alive, you always understand when there is the purpose, you really understand why you're doing that, and the resistance will be very, very low, normally. So what can we see? That purpose shapes individual attitudes. So group dynamics reinforce secure behaviors. Collective action enhances overall security. And we see when everyone understands the why, the security becomes a second nature. And this is great. So we have in our own hands something where we can really change how security is lived up. And so this is the power of Socio-Dynamics in security. How does that work in reality in companies? I hope you guys can all see that. So you see the golden circle, Simon Sinek, if anybody knows it. I just put it up there, it's not mine. So you have the why, the company purpose, what's all about in his book, and he tells how great that goes to every part of the company. You have the why, the how, and the what. But for us in security, it's important that when you do have a company purpose, with a patient at the heart, you also have a security purpose. I keep up the ADT system, or let's say the company, the Epic security system, to take care that we have the patient at the heart. There is a security purpose, a direct security purpose. And how is the how? That you have consciousness. You, for example, have with awareness, but it's here, it's not there. Awareness comes when you care. You have good communications. You have threat modeling, secure software development. This is all what. But the why, the purpose, the security purpose is in the middle. And we need this middle to make the rest work, to make all these investments work. You remember all these millions of investments? Here you see how to make them work. And so how does that work? In a company, we don't have just one department. We have different departments, but the company purpose, when it's there first, and I'm not telling you as a company how to get this company purpose. Sometimes the owner just sits in his bath and thinks about the purpose, and in other companies there is a big group of people from the bottom up to find the purpose. That's very different from company to company. What's important is that the company really in the end stands behind this purpose. So you have the company purpose, you have the company security purpose, but you do have, when you really have the patient at the heart, you do HR with a purpose that's fitting to your company purpose. And you also have a HR security purpose. Why does HR do security? To have the right people at the right place to save lives in the end. Billing. When you don't write bills, your company don't work anymore, so you can't save lives. And the same for software development. When you don't write secure code, in the end, there will be bugs in the system and you can't take care of patients. So you have different departments, but every department has its own purpose, fitting the company purpose and its own security purpose. But it goes further. You have the company purpose, you have the department purpose, but then there comes the employee purpose. And that's how you normally implement it in a company. You find a company purpose that is different in every company. How exactly you find it? Simon Sinek gave a lot of ideas how to find it. I think it really depends on the company. Often it's good to find an external partner to do that with you, to give you some insights, some ideas. But then you go with every department, find their purpose and find their security purpose. And then in the department, every employee find your own purpose. Why do you get up in the morning? Why do you go in your car to the company? Why do you sit in front of the desk? Why do you do that for 8 hours? Why do you put your time in there except that you get money? I know every one of us needs money, but why do you do it? Why don't you work at another company? Why don't you just sit there and do nothing and try to do as less as possible? Why are you working? That's your own employee purpose. I'm not talking about your private purpose. You probably have another, like keeping your child healthy. But you then also have an employee purpose. And that rounds up to that millions and billions which are spent in security. Because when you want to overcome the resistance, there is a recipe, and there are also a lot of other factors. I don't want to say that this is the only. But the basement of the whole building you do is the power of purpose and the security dynamics which evolve through the purpose. So what does it do? It aligns values over the whole company. When everybody has the patient at the heart, every gnosis will go to that direction, at least the very most. It aligns values from the companies, from the employees, from the departments, from everybody is thriving to the same direction. It creates a security mindset, because when you really understand the purpose and you want to keep that purpose in place, you want to make that live and thriving, you need a security mindset, because otherwise probably there can come a hacker or whatever and kill your company. That isn't good for your purpose. It will not go and spread in the world. It fosters this positive influence. The better you understand it, the more positive is your influence in the world. It builds a security culture. We are so often talking about security culture. We have security champion programs, we have security culture things, but when you don't know why you get up in the morning, when you don't know why you drive to your company, when you don't know why you spend your 8 hours at the desk, then how do you build culture? Culture has always been something with purpose. It was religion, it was state stuff, it was the city you're born in. There are people who are really stubborn on their village they are born in. They have a purpose to make that better than the other village. But people who have a purpose, whatever it is, are very powerful and have good influence. And it transforms that commitment. It makes you really commit to what you're doing. So, yeah. There is a saying that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And I think that when purpose meets positive group dynamics, the resistance devolves. And there is no problem anymore because culture and strategy will be on the same line. So yes, it can eat it for breakfast, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so yeah. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Ida. I'd like to open up the room for questions. Who wants to start? We have the first question already in the back, and this is the second one then.
Thank you very much for your presentation, very interesting. What I was thinking when hearing you talk is, you said when you align the individual purpose with the company purpose, then you achieve everything. Could it be that when there's missing company purpose, that the individual will develop their own purpose, which may be afterwards not align anymore, and then you have a huge issue because they are just not working together?
Yes, definitely. When your vacuums always tend to fill up, so or by people who don't do anything anymore, or by people who have their own purpose, which is over spreading. We see that in security a lot. People are really willing, they want to save, but when they want to work, they want to make things better. But when the management, there's the gap again, when the management does not help, then you exactly get this gap. And this is really harmful also for the people. There are so many burnout cases because of people who have a really strong feeling of purpose. They try to work really hard, but don't get this, they are stuck in this gap. Yeah, it's really dangerous.
Great, thank you. Second question from the second row.
Thank you for your presentation. It was very inspiring.
Thank you.
The point is that resistance, as a cliche, I would say, the older the people are, the more resistant they are to change.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a hint maybe how you can deal with old people who are very resistant, who did things for 30 years in a way and are really not willing to change anything?
Mm-hmm. So it's human nature, which is normal that we get more stubborn when we are older. It was useful in Stone Age. So there is a good reason that it happens. But so take this with a positive attitude, because it is really something which saved our lives back 300,000 years ago. I would still say purpose. I don't think that older people don't understand purpose. It will take longer for them to change, yes. They perhaps need more positive reinforcement, and I really mean positive reinforcement. It just takes time. Time and good talks, because sometimes they have different ideas. Listen to them. When people feel that they are hurt, that people really listen and they really try to understand, you often find a way. Sometimes they have reasons which are even for them difficult to explain. But when you really listen and ask questions and come in contact, you perhaps understand where their personal resistance lies, and you can dissolve it. I don't say you can always, but also with younger people. But I think it takes more time and perhaps some more good talks.
Ida, one more thing. You have not mentioned one word, although everything was around this word. This word was, for those who carefully listened, was communication.
Yes.
We never used the word communication, although we were talking about listening and understanding, etc. So, in fact, it's a lot about communication. My question is, if the goal is to communicate purpose,
yes,
what is your strategy in terms of having direct communication or communication from top to bottom? So, for instance, give me an example. Let me give you an example. So, for instance, the CISO says, hey, here's our strategy, here's our purpose, etc. And he's sending this as an email or as a speech to everybody, versus spreading this information to team members, to team leaders, and let them explain it. What's your take on this?
Definitely as direct as possible. So, and I don't like the top-down approach. I'm really a grass-up everything approach. And I know that, let me explain it how Judy did it, because she did it great. she had this really strong idea, and she told it to everybody. And she was open to talk to everybody. Everybody could go to her. She was sitting in the cafeteria every lunch she could possibly take, and talk there with just a small group of people. So she really was behind that. She went to the people, she talked to the people, she was so close to her employees. And I think even if it's not Judy, not the biggest boss, but the deeper understanding is there, the closer they go to the people, the more direct communication they do, the more they do listen, the better. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for these insights. Thanks, Ida.
You're welcome.
And